So we're gonna go into we're gonna talk a little bit about boxing, and this time, as you can see from the topic, Claressa Shields gets it. That's what I said. Now I know that Claressa Shields gave different reasons for Charlo beating Nello, or being on the side of Charlo, taking Nello and taking Nello to school. She don't see Charlo beating Nello, but she sees Charlo knocking out Nello, but she does see Mel taking Nello to school, and I could see that myself. Now, I think she sees now that of the two, Mel and Maul, I agree with Claressa 100% that Mel is the better fighter of the two. I think that Mel it can do more things than Maul can. Maul go behind that jab, but Mel can lead with the right hand. He can lead with the jab. Got decent power. Very aggressive fighter. Takes advantage, finishes very well. Once he hurts his opponent, really good footwork. So I think that actually of the two, and again, he is the crazier, more aggressive of the two. I think Mel will be the one to really face Canelo and give Canelo some work that Canelo's going to be pretty uncomfortable with. You know what I mean? She said something else, which I thought was so... Nobody been saying it of late, but I'm glad she said it. So I just want to bring it back up. For those of you who didn't see the interview, she did an interview with Fight Hype. Y'all can check it out on Fight Hype's channel. And in it, she mentioned Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. That, Mel's crazy enough to face Boo Boo after all these years, even though he got an issue with Boo Boo and all of that. I think Mel, Maul being, hesitating to face Boo Boo. Boo Boo been calling out Maul, but I think Mel would face Boo Boo. And Mel was supposed to face Boo Boo at 154. So if Mel becomes undisputed against Canelo, Nello, I would see. Of course, we all like Canelo, but I just know Mel's a different kind of guy. Mel's a different kind of guy to Maul. So I think Nello actually gave the original Charlo, who was promised Canelo, was Mel. I think that Nello is about to give Mel the shot he's supposed to have gotten many years ago. And Mel ain't going to throw that. He not going to turn that down for nothing. Mel definitely going to jump at that with hands, foot, everything. Because Mel know that's a guy he has all the tools to beat. He knows that. And I told y'all what Nello's flaw was. So Nello got to work on that. He going to also have to work on speed. So he going to have to work on his conditioning major to beat Mel. Because Mel going to be quicker, sharper, faster. Because he's coming up in weight. And on top of that, he got skills. Serious skills. So this could be a Mayweather-Bivol fight all over again for Nello. Because Nello, even though he improved as a fighter and he has more wrinkles to his game, essentially the one area he's supposed to have worked on was his foot cardio. He got to keep up with these guys, and he cannot keep up. He was steps behind Caleb Plant. He was steps behind Bivol, and he going to be steps behind Mel. Because Mel's going to be faster than him, quicker than him, sharper than him. Mel ain't a guy who will make mistakes like that. And Mel got a decent thump, so moving up in weight, his power probably going to carry. They're not going to try and be too big. But he's going to have to have enough thump to keep Canelo honest. He's he's sturdy, he's durable, and all of that. So, Canelo going to have to look for the stoppage. How he going to get that? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I can see what Claressa was saying. The other thing that Claressa said to me makes a lot of sense is Claressa saying that, of all the Charlos or all the fighters out there that wouldn't give Demetrius Andrade a chance, I think Mel will give Andrade a chance to face him. Even though, everything comes full circle, I think, in boxing. And I think Andrade made the worst mistake at 154, signing with Rock Nation and trying to, you know, go for bigger money instead of facing Mel. Everything was set up, contracts was made, signed, and agreed upon, and then Andre came and basically made his contract void, stepping away, pulling out of the fight. And I think that's what Mel, he was always supposed to face Mel. And I believe it's in Mel's hands to make sure that that fight happens next, him versus Andre. And that would be a tougher fight for Mel because Andre can really box and he can really move. And we've seen guys like Tony Harrison give him problems and stuff. But quite frankly and honestly, if everything gets full circle and Andre gets his second shot, I think Mel versus Andre would be a good fight. And we'll see. I don't know. But Mel's a guy that wouldn't turn, duck, or dodge nobody. People talking about Mel coming back down to 154 facing Tim Tszyu. If he loses to Canelo, maybe. Maybe. But I really don't see Mel coming back down. I think if Mel beats Canelo at 168, he'll either stay at 168 or go down to 160 at most. But I think Mel's going to stay at 168. And I think Mal going to have to sort out his business and see if he's going to box ever again. If he's going to do this boxing thing or if he out the game, you know. But Mel skipped 160 to leave that room for Mel skipped 160 to leave room for Mal, I think. Yeah, man. So I think Carissa's on point there. I really do think Mel has a great opportunity to become undisputed 2 times over. Of course, Terrence Crawford also has that opportunity, as we know. And Usyk's working on his opportunity. And that would be great because they will all join Claressa in being 2 divisional 2-time undisputed world champions. So it would be nice to see more of that. That would be great. With respect to what you see in the headline, the sort of clickbait grab, where Chris is talking about beating Rolly Romero. I don't think there's anything great about that. To be honest with you, I don't know if she actually said that. That's just something I saw in there, and I wanted to mention Rolly Romero's name because Rolly Romero is a guy who I find is copying the Adrian Broner blueprint. Adrian Broner used to say outlandish things and capture media attention. And I think Rolly Romero picked on to that and decided to use that blueprint that Adrian Broner set. But really and truly, the original guy who started talking crazy mess like that and being funny was Adrian Broner. Shout out to Adrian Broner. I don't know what he's going through in his life, but we just supporting you still, brother. I like you. You're a real dude and you're cool, dude. And you were funny as hell and you're still funny. So I'm still a fan of boxing, you know. I think Rolly Romero's taken Adrian Broner's blueprint and decided I'm going to make some money off this sport. I'm going to try and get all the big fights I could possibly get, face the biggest names in boxing for money. So he's trying to make money, which is smart. And he said something, concerning Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford that they both, you know, they don't have the sturdiest of chins or some kind of stuff like that. And when they was asking him who would win, he just realized he didn't know. And he said, man, I don't know who's going to win this fight. It was funny how he said it and everything. And it reminded me of Adrian Broner, AB, you know. We miss AB from the game because AB brought something special to the game. He brought humor. He brought a certain edginess that I hadn't seen by any fighter in a long time. Fighters are not as colorful as they used to be. And guys like Adrian Broner, guys like Rolly Romero, even Keyshawn Davis trying to do, you know, a little bit of characterization, a little bit, you know, just try to add something to the mix, you know. I make boxing entertaining because it's entertainment as well. And I wish Adrian Broner nothing but the best. I hope he's doing well. So basically, Rolly Romero borrowed from Adrian Broner's blueprint. That's what I wanted to really say. It's not that. I mean, Chris is beating up Rolly Romero. We know Chris has got excellent boxing skills. And Rolly Romero's still learning on the job, as we say. So, of course, Claressa, being a better boxer, I would assume she would beat Rolly Romero. She'd outbox him. But Rolly Romero's like, what? Like, Claressa has fought as high as 168. Why are we even talking about this? 168 pounder talking about beating up a 140 pounder. Really, does that make sense? That sounds like a bully. That sounds like bullyism, man. That ain't right. You got more size than this dude. Yeah, you might be a woman, but you still got more mass, and you know, uh, I just I don't like hearing about mismatches. I don't like people bullying other people. I'm talking about, I don't care if you say you a woman and he a man, you're still bullying him because you're so many weight classes bigger than him. You're like, what? How many weight classes is she? The lowest she's gone is 154. The highest she's gone is 168. Come on, Claressa. Don't do that. Don't take advantage of the small fight. I see you sparring these little guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. And Claressa's something else. You know what I mean? You were big. You big. You big. You were like you a 160 pounder, right? What's a 140 pounder doing messing with a 160 pounder? Come on, man. I mean, I don't care if you're a woman or a man. I wouldn't ask a heavyweight woman to spar a featherweight. So let's stop that, man. Just because he's a man, come on now. That's bullyism, man. Why don't you talk about knocking out Tyson Fury? That's what we want to know. That's greatness right there. You're a woman and everything. Pick on somebody your own size at least. A 160 pounder, a 168. Anybody in the vicinity. 154. I know you can't mess with the 154 pounders. You ain't gonna mess with Charlo. You certainly ain't gonna mess with Errol, right? Now it don't make no sense for you to mess with Terrence because Terrence has gotten bigger. When he was smaller, I would say, okay, you mess with him. You could survive a couple of rounds, maybe, But to say, you're not messing with people your size. You know what I mean? And so, of course, you pick on somebody several divisions smaller than you. Of course, we expect you to beat that person. If they're not a great boxer, if they're a great boxer, you're not beating them. So, of course, but like, I don't think that's something you want to thump your chest on and say, "Oh man, I'll beat Rolly Romero." That's not cool. That's like taking advantage of the situation. We know you're a better boxer than he is. So, it's like, I don't know if she actually said that. That might be clickbait, but I just thought I'd comment on that. Rolly Romero, though, is very entertaining. He's a very nice guy, loving guy. He talk all kind of crap for the cameras, but really in reality, he's a sensible guy off camera. So he talked his way into the tank fight. Kudos to him on that. He did also position himself. He was I believe he was the interim champion. So he did position himself to face the tank. And Mayweather Promotions, of course, made that happen. Just listening to Evander Holyfield talk about how these people now entering into boxing from other disciplines, the YouTubers who fight on the zone. We have crossover boxing. Jake Paul kind of took over that. Mayweather still does his exhibitions, but these guys, they have Jake Paul and all the other guys like Anderson Gibb and all these guys. These guys are not lifelong boxers. They'd only be in boxing maybe 4 or 5 years, 2, 3 years, and they're already making all this set of money off of these tournaments and competitions because you got all these casual fans following them from whether they're YouTubers or social media people following them and watching these entertaining fights, which are pretty entertaining. They're sloppy-ish fights, but they're entertaining. Basic kind of fights, but they're entertaining. And it's interesting to me because it's like, these people are making a whole set of money off of boxing. More money than people who've spent their whole lives and careers. I mean, boxing has provided a way for these people to come out of their situations and to do better. But Evander Holyfield said something that was very interesting. He said that, we need to study that model and see how we, as lifelong boxers, can make the kind of money they make. But one of the things you got to understand is these people know how to use and manipulate social media to their advantage to make. Again, they have to make the fights entertaining. So one of the things about these fights, why these people are making so much money, is because they're picking a dancing partner that people globally who follow some other combat discipline is very popular. Floyd Mayweather was the guy that started doing this. So that Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor crossover fight Conor McGregor was the most popular guy in MMA. Then Mayweather went across to Japan and found the big star. The big star that's the big draw in Japan, and he faced that guy, and so on and so on and so on. That's what Mayweather's been doing. And now the younger people are picking up on that, and Jake Paul's doing that when it comes to MMA, mostly MMA fighters, and pulling out the MMA audience towards boxing, as well as some other guys. Now Tyson Fury's kind of taking a page out of that as well, and I wouldn't necessarily have thumped him and said I want to punch him in the face if he didn't involve the WBC title in it. And again, I can't fully give him the blame because the WBC was complicit in this. And the WBC really, once they withdraw that as a title shot, it can be a voluntary, but it doesn't need to be a title shot. There's no way you should have an MMA fighter or former MMA fighter fighting for a world title unless he's worked his way up the ranks and has a respectable resume. There's no reason. He's done nothing in boxing. I have no problem with Tyson Fury facing an MMA fighter, mind you. And a guy of that caliber, I don't have a problem. But you don't put the world title on the line for that. That's where it gets to be a mockery of the sport. And are you going to sell out the sport, Mr. Suleiman, for money? Is this what you're going to do? I mean, this is the problem with boxing. Some people do some really stupid things, and then you look back and you say, that hurts the sport, man. And this is definitely going to hurt the sport, you know. Because what you're basically saying is that your world titles are up for the guy with the most money. So if you got a lot of money and you could pay for the title, so it's not about earning the title no more. Why didn't they have them fighting for the franchise title or some shit like that? That sounds more suitable to it. You want to take your franchise title that don't mean shit to us and do that, but not the legitimate WBC title. That heavyweights in the past have represented, from Ali and so on. It's just derogatory. And you guys are going to hear me video after video stressing on this and emphasizing this, because you see it's not a big issue, and a lot of y'all are dismissing it, not making a big. But y'all made a big issue about Mayweather facing Conor McGregor and not facing the worthy competition, even though he wasn't world champion. Y'all was making a whole set of noise about that. Y'all was going in on Mayweather when he was fighting, just fighting, and he said he will hurt his legacy and stuff when he was fighting guys who was when he was doing exhibitions, right? Y'all was going in on Mayweather, but this fool, just because his skin and his complexion, is white or so-called white, y'all ain't saying shit. And it really pisses me off. I don't hear old media talking about it. I don't hear nobody saying that it's disrespectful to sport. I don't hear Oscar De La Hoya saying nothing. I don't hear none of the major guys out there, Manny Pacquiao, nobody saying anything about it. Everybody just mum on that. How could this dude defend the WBC title, the heavyweight title of the world, the prestigious title of the world, against a guy who does not deserve a title shot? You explain that to me and get back to me afterwards. Now, I can understand voluntaries where people face guys with reputation and they have been former world champions and they've faced some of the best fighters in the world. So Dillian White was one of them. He got a shot at the title, but he had fought guys like AJ. He fought a lot of people. So Dillian White deserved. In fact, Dillian White was a mandatory, so he deserved his shot a long time ago. Okay, so his fight with Dillian White, I can't be mad at it. His fight with Derek Chisora just finished facing Alexander Usyk, the now unified world champion. So I wasn't mad at Tyson Fury facing Derek Chisora. Those were two solid fights for the championship. Even though you were supposed to face Alexander Usyk, by the way, when all of that was going down, we let that slide. We'd say, oh, that's cool. It's all right. It's cool. But how can you defend your title against somebody who does not deserve a title shot in any way, shape, or form? They've done nothing in boxing at all. Not amateurs, not pros. They've done absolutely nothing. Somebody was saying, well, this dude got six boxing fights. That don't mean nothing. As far as I do know, if you're not a top 10 boxer, at least you have to be a former world champion in boxing. You have to have some credentials. You have had to fight some names. When Floyd faced Andre Berto in his last defense of the WBC, WBA titles at 147, Andre Berto was on a winning streak. Andre Berto was the former two-time welterweight world champion, both WBC and IBF world champion. Okay? And this guy had fought a litany of names and beaten a litany of names. So it wasn't like Andre Berto was some guy. Okay, he was unranked. He wasn't in the top 10 top 10 welterweights in the world at the time, but this man was a worthy guy. What Tyson Fury is doing is so bad for the sport. You know, there's a lack of incentive in the heavyweight division, or should be a lack of incentive, because it's saying a guy could bypass all of this if the fight is worth a lot of money. The WBC, for the first time ever in their history, because this never happened before, is about to sell out their so-called belt and title for money. And that's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. You're talking about you want the biggest and best fights out there, and then you facilitate a guy ducking another guy, which is okay because it's not a mandatory, right? So you don't lose a belt, you don't get stripped of a belt because they ain't no mandatory you're facing. His voluntary that you're saying he puts his belt on the line for is a non-boxer, period. It's not like, even with Conor McGregor, he at least had amateur experience. You're saying this guy, he got 4 fights. If them 6 fights or whatever, if those 6 fights are against championship people, then fine. He definitely is worthy of, because he's a top contender, he's worthy of facing for the belt. I don't even understand what the WBC is thinking, because that's how it's always been. You got to be a worthy challenger for the belt. You don't want mismatches. You talk about you want the best fights out there. So why are you allowing the worst possible fight ever in the history of boxing to happen for a title? It's a terrible mismatch, right? My problem is not having the fight. You can have the fight and have a diamond belt or something on the line. You know, WBC makes up belts as they go along. Nothing wrong with that. But you can't be telling me this is a championship fight. Are you crazy? That is the disrespectful element of the whole thing. And I'm going to harp on this. I don't care. If nobody else talks about this, I will talk about it. And I will talk about it until they make changes to it, because this is unacceptable, and this is a disgrace to the sport of boxing. And you don't have to be no purist or nothing. In MMA, you ain't gonna have somebody who's an MMA fighter defending his MMA championship title against somebody who has never done MMA in their life. You will never see that happen. Not in the UFC, not in any one of those any of those other sports, right? You know what the reason is? That they respect their organization. There is a ranking system. And if you're going outside of the ranking system, it has to be somebody who's very deserving of it, because that person has the experience of facing top competition in that organization. It's got to be somebody who's worthy, even if it's a voluntary. Why, oh why, is the WBC encouraging mediocrity? Why, oh why, are you willing to sell out the reputation of your company and the quality, or shall I say, the principles that govern boxing? Why are you willing to sell that out for money? You're so hungry for money. You so need money. Just because the fight's a big fight, but you don't have the championship on the line with somebody who does not deserve it. You have to earn your spot. You don't pay for your spot, you earn your spot. What is it? Doesn't Mr. Suleiman and Company Limited have a backbone and a spine? Are they afraid that Tyson Fury would vacate the title because he's not getting his way? Why are they so spineless all of a sudden? And why is it that all of these non-black fighters get passes on so many things, but when it comes to the black fighters, they're ready to enforce the law on them? That's very racist. And I'm going to call it out for what it is. Nobody else will call it out. I will call it out. That is ridiculous what they're doing with boxing. They're making it a clown show. And Tyson Fury is the clown running that show. And we talk about Floyd Mayweather being a clown, but Floyd Mayweather never did something like that. Floyd Mayweather, while he was in the game, followed the rules. And it has nothing to do with whether you're at the end of your career or in the middle of the career. You could have a crossover fight whenever you want in your career. But the one thing you don't do in a crossover fight is put your title on the line against somebody you know has never done what your discipline is. It must be a worthy opponent. I pray this fight don't make no money and people see through it. I hope the MMA fighters, I hope the MMA fans do not pay for this fight. I hope the casual fan do not pay for this fight. And I hope they're going to still get paid, because I think they're doing it in Saudi Arabia. They're still going to get paid. But I hope that this fight doesn't make numbers, because if it don't make numbers, then it means the audience is smartening up and wising up to what is a competitive fight and a good competition between an official boxing sport. This is not a side sport, and you don't play boxing. So this is not no sideshow. This is not no sideshow. Okay? You don't take official business. You don't take an official belt in real competition and make it into a sideshow. There's a difference between a sideshow. When Mayweather McGregor came, that was a sideshow. They call it an event. It was a sideshow. And it was separate from competitive boxing. And how was it separated? Mayweather wasn't the world champion. He wasn't the welterweight world champion. In fact, they didn't even fight at welterweight. I think Floyd fought at 150 something pounds, and Conor McGregor came in at 175 something pounds, because it wasn't about weight class and all of that. All right, they had their own separate thing. That was his own separate thing from official competitive professional boxing. Now, people say that Jake Paul is a professional boxer. Yes, he is, but he does sideshow events, right? When Tyson Fury's brother went in and faced Conor McGregor, that was a side thing. That wasn't, Tyson Fury's brother his career didn't really bump up in terms of not popularity, but in terms of his ranking. It didn't really bump up that high after beating Jake Paul. He's still in the prospect stage, and he still has to face other boxers to boost up his career and keep it moving, right? But because of the Jake Paul fight, he stepped off to the side and said, I'm going to veer off to the side and do this fight here, right? It's a sideshow, okay? Jake Paul, he's not been, since Tyson Fury, he hasn't faced really professional boxers. He's faced former MMA fighter. He's going to fight another MMA fighter, right? Jake Paul's going to face Nate Diaz, right? Nick or Nate, I don't know which one it is. He's going to face one of them. Again, that's a sideshow. That's not professional boxing. When you talk YouTube boxing, that's a sideshow. It's great. It's popular. It's good. People pay to see it and stuff, and it's booming, and it's a part of boxing, but it is not the official professional boxing where you're going for a world championship with the sanctioning bodies, right? So you have to understand the difference. Now, Tyson Fury's trying to take, he's a fucking clown. He's trying to take the circus and bring the circus to professional boxing. He's trying to do WWE boxing, which is bullshit. Okay? That's what he's trying to do. And the WBC is allowing him to do that. And this is not the WWE. You understand? In the meantime, he is ducking the real competition in boxing. So it's a double whammy, and that's why I call him a clown. I don't care how good his boxing skills are. He's a clown. Okay? He's a clown. He's a clown. He's a clown. And I don't care about him no more. Because what you're doing is you're bringing down the sport I love so dear. And the problem with it is he's doing this while we are in the era of people who actually are facing the best. Right? So I don't really care. I don't care what he says about money and all of that stuff. I don't really care about that dude. He's a clown as far as I'm concerned. And I think what the WBC should have done was, if he was trying to fight this guy for the WBC title, they should have stripped him of the WBC so it would free up the next person to face Alexander Usyk, so Usyk could get a chance undisputed, or somebody become undisputed in the heavyweight division. Because Tyson Fury is keeping back the heavyweight division from becoming unified. And if he don't want to box, and he don't want to face those guys, and he don't want to test himself no more, then get out the damn sport. Get out of the way. You're holding the belt hostage. It's been now, what, 3 fights? It's been 3 fights in. This is going to be the 4th, where you did not face Alexander Usyk for undisputed. If you don't want to face him, retire, leave, vacate your title, and leave the sport, and don't come back. Okay? Because you're holding the WBC title hostage. That's what you're doing. And that's the thing that the Young Guns was accusing Floyd Mayweather of doing after he faced Manny Pacquiao and he decided to face Andre Berto. Undeservedly so, because Andre Berto at least was a good fighter. But Floyd listened to them and he got out of the game. 2015, he vacated all the titles. By 2016, he had left all the titles. Because it was like, get your old ass out of here. He held hostage, again, the WBC, the WBA, was it WBA or WBC? I think it was WC and the WBA did some real stupid stuff by, oh shit, I was supposed to do some stuff today, I forgot. Anyway, the WBC and WBA did some stupid stuff by holding hostage the 154-pound title, making Mayweather versus Marcos Maidana, I think was the second fight. Those belts were up for grabs in that second fight, which was nonsense. Okay? It was nonsense. And I remember Leonard, I think Floyd was angry and was trying to find out from Leonard Ellaby how the hell that even happened. Okay? That was to keep Floyd from defending his mandatory at 154. That's why they did that. And that's some nonsense. Okay? Floyd just needed to vacate those titles and say, well, I'm a 147 pounder. I'm not going to face nobody, at 154. That's all he had to say, right? So Charlo one day was mad at him and stuff, and it was like, get your old ass out of the game if you're not going to defend the titles. You know what I'm saying? Because you keep back the other people from becoming world champion, and the goal of boxers is to become world champion. All right? So if you're going to do these circus sideshows, crossover events and stuff, don't hold official titles hostage, man. All right? And Tyson Fury be holding those official titles hostage because he really doesn't want to face Alexander Usyk. He actually thinks that that's a big threat to him. Because he doesn't know how to beat Alexander Usyk. Okay? And the thing about it is that the dude won't let go of the title. He trying to now defend the title against a guy who's not even a boxer. All right? And you could say he's trolling boxing or whatever he's doing, but he needs to get his ass out of boxing. Either get out of the sport or defend the title against Usyk. Or fight somebody who's a mandatory, somebody who deserves to get the title shot. You know what I mean? But stop hugging the fucking title because you want to be undefeated. You holding on to the title, but you don't want to get out the game. Get out the game. Nobody gonna be mad at you. You didn't want to face Usyk. Fine. Get out the fucking game then. You could say you undefeated and whatever, and they can rank you however you want to as a heavyweight champion. But right now, you just pissing off the public. You're just pissing off the boxing public. And I pray God, the MMA and boxing public, do not buy your fight because it's shit. It's trash. No disrespect to the guy, the MMA guy that jumped at the opportunity. Hope he gets paid. But your fight is trash. On Tyson Fury's end, he a clown. And this is trash. Okay? This is a trash fight. Not a championship. This is not a championship. This is not a championship fight. Y'all want to talk about Floyd's Well, he didn't have a championship fight against Conor McGregor, so we can't even count that. But you don't want to talk about Floyd versus Conor McGregor is not his 50th win in professional boxing. All right, but it is. All right, that goes without saying. But you will never find Floyd fighting a championship fight against trash. Okay, no disrespect to Ngannou, but bro, you're not a boxer. What you doing in the ring? You don't even throw shots properly. You loop shots. You be selling from way back when. You're not gonna be able to hang with Tyson Fury. He knock you out in first seconds of a round. By the first shot he hit you, you knocked out. What good is that? He could carry you for a couple rounds if you want to. You know what I mean? And this is not falling in Floyd Mayweather's shoes, because Floyd Mayweather at least separated championship fights and holding up the ranking system from, I'm going to do a professional boxing fight, right? Cool. Jake Paul didn't bother nobody with his professional boxing fight. And even the professional boxing fight that comes out here is a professional boxing fight, no doubt about it. But he's not going to bother nobody's rankings. He's not affecting anybody by doing that. Your dumbass be affecting and holding up the whole heavyweight division. Your stupid ass be holding up the whole heavyweight division. Y'all must be wondering why. Why is What You Need going in on Tyson Fury like if he's a clown, like nonstop, and I'm calling him a clown? It's because he's holding up everything. All right? If you don't want to face Alexander Usyk, get out the game. Just get out. But don't hold the heavyweight title of the world, the WBC heavyweight title of the world hostage, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because you're a clown right now. Nobody's going to respect you. You're not doing anything for your legacy. You want the money grab? Go ahead and get your money grab. Retire and face the dude. Or vacate the title and face the dude. Or just don't have the fight as a championship fight and face the dude. You could have your belt, but face the dude. Just make sure the WC doesn't sanction it as a championship fight. Make sure of that. And duke it out with the dude. But this is unacceptable. This is sacrilegious. This is a mockery to the champions. It cheapens what a champion is. And like I said, I pray the guy knock your ass out. I'm not gonna watch that fight, but I'm gonna talk about how much that particular fight is a mess on boxing if it goes through the way how the WBC wants it. And WBC's been doing a whole heap of shit over the last couple of years with their franchise title to duck fighters, with this stupid sanctioning of a boxing match that should never happen, with their many different little belts, that don't mean shit. The only thing that matters is the official titles. All these partial titles don't mean shit. Okay? But it's just to make more sanctioning, just to pay more sanctioning fees and to make some more money. And again, I don't have a problem with you making a special belt for an occasion, like the diamond belt for a special occasion. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem when, one, people are confused about who the real champion is. Two, when you take a championship fight that should be with two worthy contenders and you cripple your whole entire sport, the whole ranking system, off of some money to make a guy who has never boxed a day in his life get a chance at the championship. That is not making no sense to me. That is just absolute and complete and utter nonsense. Stupidity at the highest height. And this is why people don't watch boxing. Because of the stupidity and the greed. Excuse me for a second. So you're going to have to pardon me for speaking on this issue a number of times. Okay? You're going to have to pardon me for doing that. Okay? I'll be right back. I'm just gonna. Yes. Now I know there's specific times when we could talk about boxing and stuff, but I decided to dedicate my day to this because I didn't go out and work because it was raining most of the day. I didn't move anywhere. I'm still gonna have to go out and water some plants and stuff, but other than that, I'm not doing much. So I decided to spend some time with you guys today, talking boxing, and I did a lot of videos today. If you guys are interested in donating to this channel, once again, the PayPal link will be in the comment section this time when this video comes out. I did a number of videos today on boxing, and the main reason I did it is because, you know, sometimes out there people say different things, but really and truly, sometimes you just really need to get the right information. So I wanted to set the record straight on some of the things that was said. But I got some more stuff I want to say to you guys, but I'm going to catch you guys later. First, what you need is going to be out of the building for now. I know you guys are going to view my videos. Do me a favor, though. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to it. If you like what you're seeing, the content is as raw as it gets, and it is live. So I'm going to catch you guys later. I am what you need. Peace.